think it was a couple years ago, we were literally in a Whole Foods parking lot, and something had happened in your life at the beach. And I was fascinated by the story because she was going on and on about it. And I'm like, that has something to do with sales, but I wonder if she has any idea like what it could be. And maybe it would be funny to turn the camera on and see like her reaction. And so I turned the camera on at, I think it was Whole Foods, or maybe it was.
No, very first episode, we were in the kitchen that night, and I was eating the teeniest, tiniest bowl of ice cream.
Right.
Because I have a problem. I'll eat the whole thing. So I found this tiny little bowl, and I put in a tiny little bit of ice cream. And I was sitting there, and he said, and he just took out the camera, and he just started asking me about earlier today. You brought up, I don't remember what the topic was, at the beach, and I said, yeah. And he's like, do you remember what I taught you? And do you remember what we talked about? And I was like, no. And so he just went over, and we went over what the lesson was. And I was just kind of giggling, and he never pulls out his camera. That's so unlike him. So I was just giggling, like, what are you doing? And he uploaded it onto LinkedIn. And I guess there was probably 3 viewers who maybe went, that's funny. And then we did it again, because this is really a part of our life.
It was really meant to just entertain people. And I didn't know what it was going to be like, but as it's kind of gotten some legs, people really, I think, enjoy the dynamic, I think, between us, and they usually learn a little something.
Yeah, I definitely, for one, love the dynamic. And even just meeting you guys in person right now, it's just so easy. I mean, the flow is very good between the two of you, and I think that goes a long way. It definitely comes across in your videos, and then I think that it's so great that the two of you do collaborate together on the platform. It's just been so inspirational, not just in terms of producing content, but working together and having that teamwork from a power couple perspective. Because for people my age, that's kind of the ideal when you think about, either entering a relationship or marriage or anything like that. So to have reached that level of comfortability, I think, with your partner, and then to be able to turn it into business as well, it's really awesome. I know, Jenna, you're like so shocked by everything I'm saying, but this has been my experience. So when I see the two of you, I just really...
Well, I don't think we're a power couple, so just to hear anybody describe us in that way.
We are a power couple. Well, you can look at this like the sales superpower is not asking about problems, it's finding problems. I used to run sales at a company called Jellyvision, which was a digital agency. And when I started there, my boss said, these are the 10 companies I'd love to add to our roster. And one of the companies that was at the top of the list, I believe it was number 2, was Verizon. And I was just starting out in sales and had to figure out not only how to start a conversation with someone at Verizon, but to actually get that to turn into money. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, what I had to do was try to find a big expensive problem that I thought Verizon was having, that I thought we could potentially help them with. And as I was doing some research, I stumbled across the Verizon Fios website. Now, this is about 10 or 11 years ago. And what I discovered when I was trying to select the phone, TV, and internet package was it was extremely confusing. They were talking about megabits and megabytes and all this technical jargon like Fios. And I would imagine as you started going through that process, because people were confused, there was a lot of drop off. And so if we could make that process easier to understand and even more delightful and fun, perhaps we can get more people through that funnel and perhaps more people would buy. And so I wrote a cold email to a woman by the name of Beth Mulhern, who used to work in digital at that company at the senior level. And I wrote her a cold email pointing out what I thought the problem was, and then giving her a little taste of what we had in mind. And to make a very long story short, that prompted a response. And through several long conversations and a very lengthy legal process with procurement, we ended up securing the deal, and it was a very lucrative deal for Jellyvision at the time.
Yeah, I love that. And I just love your organic approach, because so many times companies do have these blind spots. They don't know how customers view them, because customers typically only come to you when they're upset or they want a credit, but it's at a breaking point, and they're not willing to give you that constructive criticism because they just need help in that moment. And then you have your lukewarm customers that might have some positive constructive criticism to provide, but it's not that important. It's not making an impact on their life, and they have no reason to really help you in that capacity. And then, of course, you have your 10% of very happy customers that you can't do anything wrong. So the fact that you're approaching from a helpful standpoint is very rare. And I think that that's a great example of just how small businesses don't need to see themselves that way, right? And you can still make a big impact.
I think what I've learned, and it's helped me grow a sale, is like in West Elm, I'm selling a sofa. Well, what brings you in today? Why are you buying a sofa? Well, I bought a new house. So tell me about your new house. And once people really start talking and they feel like you care, you learn about their relationship. Oh, I met this new guy and I bought this new house, and tell me, how'd you meet the guy? And when there's a rapport, you would be surprised what you can learn. And so sometimes you can just organically learn a lot of things about what they like. And then next thing you know, we're selling, well, he has 2 kids, so he has a daughter. Yeah, and I'm selling a rug for the daughter's bedroom or a desk for the son's bedroom or whatever it is. But, just I think organically caring and being interested.
From a B2B perspective, you have to have a hypothesis. When you reach out to someone, you have to kind of know people like them typically have these jobs that they're trying to get done and these problems. Like in West Elm, I don't know if you do this, but hey, sometimes when people buy these couches, they're also looking for ways to light up the room, or they're looking for you have to know your market, and you have to bring forth a perspective. Because I don't want to hire a personal trainer that's asking me how to work out.
Right.
I want to hire someone like Jenna, who's been decorating rooms for a while and can shine a light on what people like them know that they don't know.
So it sounds like what both of you are saying is to really spend time with those easy sales. So someone who's coming in, they're very approachable and they're telling you, hey, this is what I need. Instead of just taking it at face value, not only just for the upsell nature of the sale, but also so that you can have a greater foundation and understanding of what's working for that customer. So when it's a negative interaction, you actually have more, information and knowledge to fall back on.
Word sales has negative connotations, but everything in life is a negotiation. So if you call it a negotiation instead of a sale, it might come off differently. But I mean, we're all negotiating whether we're trying to get our child to tie their shoelaces, or we're trying to get our mother into a nursing home, or figure out what to eat for dinner. We need to learn how to ask questions in a certain way and make the other person feel heard, and it's a give and take. So.
Jenna, I'm so glad you pointed that out too. Negotiation, that's a skill that I think a lot of people can recognize as something good to have, and it's something that we also recognize that we might not have a lot of experience in it. We might only think about it when we're up for a raise or a promotion, and then we freeze up and we know that we don't know a lot about it in that moment. And because it's so infrequent, there's not enough time to really cultivate any real skill. And if someone else is a better negotiator or a better salesperson, they're going to win, because to your point, it is a give and take, but there's always one winner, in those moments.
Sales does have a very negative stereotype. And if we labeled it something else, negotiation, having more productive conversations, getting along with people that you have conflict with, how you react to negative confrontational energy, and really kind of gets back to listening and knowing what to say to make people feel heard. That's a skill that's going to help you get through to anyone. I think it is a magic super skill that really is not quote unquote sales. It's more just about having productive conversations where people aren't bickering and fighting, especially in this world where there's such polarizing views about everything. This idea that you don't have to agree or disagree, but you can just understand someone's point of view is a skill.
Yeah. You're spot on just with everything you just said. And I liked all the alternative ways of calling it sales, without using that word, because it does come back to that communication component and just how we interact with one another. So I appreciate and thank you for saying that.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Katrina.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you're welcome, Josh, Jenna. Great to meet you guys.
You too.
Bye.